Hi guys. So don't mind my background. Lockdown events, rearranging my entire space plan. We're getting there. Anyway, today I want to talk about websites and why your website is not bringing you work, why you're losing work even though you're getting traffic to it. With the context to keep in mind that if you're a freelancer, small business owner, etc., most of the leads you're going to get in your business are going to come from your own outreach efforts, sending emails, going to networking events. A lot of people just set up a site and somehow think that like magically work is just going to come to them, which is rarely the case, sadly. Sometimes don't get me wrong, but I would say even in my own business through all these years, probably like 20 to 10% of my own personal clients, leads, etc. come from my site, and the most from just like me doing outreach. Keeping in mind, I do not put a lot of effort into my site to make it a lead generating machine in terms of all the work required to go higher in the search engine results in order to be found on the internet, etc., etc. So, if you choose to go that route, either which way, whether you're a freelancer and you're sending people to your site that you meet at networking events, etc., or you want your site to stand on its own and be a huge lead generating giant machine, either way, these are the 10 reasons that people will go to your site and then not hire you and how to fix it. And obviously, as a copywriter, this is mostly what I work on with clients, is fixing up their websites to make them money and to get clients or business or sales, etc. So almost every site I've ever worked on has one of these 10 problems, if not multiple of them, if not all of them. So let's dive in. The first one is they don't actually have any kind of targeting language on their site. They're treating their business like Walmart, and they just work with everybody instead of actually specifying who they work with. Now, that doesn't mean you need to get as specific as like young blonde moms in this one square neighborhood of New York. I doubt that is like, I mean, maybe you've done the research and you know that that's the target market for you. But for the most part, like, are you targeting big businesses? Because that language is going to be very different than if you're targeting more small mom and pop kind of shops. Are you working with someone who is highly professional? Are you working with someone who is a little more, they want to have fun and have a conversation? You know, even if you look at something like, let's say, I always use examples in industries that I kind of know well, so I don't sound too dumb. Debatable. But if you were a personal trainer, right? Like all the gyms, if you were just a trainer who marketed to everybody, it's going to be harder for you, as opposed to if you specify like only CrossFit or only moms postpartum get your body back, or that kind of, you know, like picking something even just minorly can help you a lot with the language on your site and what matters the most. Also, I've turned this all into like a downloadable opt-in if you sign up to my email list. And if you're on the email list, it's coming out later today. Just hang on a second. Let me just put the email together and send it out. But anybody who signs up, this is what you'll be getting. So my daughter's just doing her own thing today. But if you have generalist language, they're not going to connect with you. They're not going to feel any kind of draw into your business. They're not going to feel like this site is for me. Nobody wants to work with a generalist. Almost never. Never. So the second thing is your website should only be about your client and what they need. A lot of websites, when you go to it, is all about the company, the person, the founder. I did this. I won these awards. I've worked with blah. Like, sometimes that can help, but it's rarely the case. It should 99.9% of the time be about the client, what they're suffering, their struggles, what they're going through. Like as a copywriter, my clients struggle with their sites aren't converting, their emails aren't being opened, nobody's buying from their Facebook ads. So you need to know the problems of the people that you've decided in group number 1, and you need to know their problems. And you need to put that as the first thing on the site, because you need people to land on your site and have them think this site is for me. So number 3 is too much business jargon. A lot of people will put a lot of language that's specific to their industry because they think it makes them sound smarter, and by sounding smarter, their clients would be like, oh wow, I don't understand any of this. They must really know what they're doing, and that's never the case. Nobody likes to be talked down to. They like to be talked at. So you need to make sure your language, even if you're, granted, if you're like selling medical products to doctors, of course you need to keep the language like in the realm of what that is. But you need to keep the language at the understanding of your target market. And I'm not saying that they're dumb. I'm just saying that they're not in your industry. So I'm not going to like put on my site like a million copyrighted terms, click-through rate, conversion rate. Like I'm not going to. Some of those are semi-understood, but for the most part, it's not. It's very specific to marketing. And so basically, the easier you can make it to be understood, the happier they are to work with you because they can read it, they understand what you're offering, they understand what you do, and they can hire you. The fourth most common problem is that there's no actual clear, tangible offer on what you do. Now, you can't promise the same results for every client. I can't promise that I can double the opt-in rate for everyone that I write copy for, depending on how good the copy already is, depending on where they're starting at. Like, there's so many factors, but I can say improve the conversion rate. I can say, if I was a personal trainer, like lose weight. A lot of people use very vague language because they don't, I just saw a typo in my own word. They don't want to get specific, or they actually don't have the experience to get specific, which is a problem, which is fine. Everyone starts from somewhere. Everyone starts from varying levels of experience. But, like I wrote down some like common ones that I see is like, we help you find clarity. That doesn't mean anything. We help you create solutions. That is so vague, it means nothing. We help empower people. Empower people means absolutely, also another typo. God, my editing brain can never be turned off. Empowering people means what? Like, it means nothing tangible. You need to have actual, tangible, like I have in there, like if you were someone who's like a business organizer, right? Instead of saying like, oh, let us help you create solutions, it's like, let us help you stay on top of your to-do list overwhelm and make sure the most important projects are moving forward. That's tangible. You can understand that. You can put yourself in that situation. You can, like if someone was telling you to feel empowered, you're like, I don't specifically know what that means necessarily. Like you can have a good, like vague Oprah-esque idea of what being empowered means, but the actual tangent, like in my job, like I'm empowered to ask my boss for a raise. I'm empowered to be a self-starter. I'm empowered to start my own business. Like, what are you empowering? Hoorah, So you've got to delete that. You've got to make very specific offers. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not saying you have to get so specific of like, if you were a trainer, like lose 10 pounds guaranteed. That's tough. That's a tough thing to promise. But, you'll know you can give you the ability to walk into any gym and create a workout for yourself. That kind of thing, tangible, you can understand that, you can see how your life would be different with that in your life. Okay, the next thing you want to do now that you have all that is give them immediate way to take action, whether that's buying a low value email or digital product, signing up for like a free webinar, or signing up for your email list. It's very hard to go right out the gate with like your $5,000 coaching package to give to them, but something low barrier, like, so the flow of it is like they land on your site, you have a paragraph about them and their problems, and they're like, oh my God, yes, this is exactly what I'm going through. This drives me crazy. Oh wow, you have this ebook opt-in thing to solve this problem. Let me sign up real quick. You want to grab them, when they're hot in like the yes mode. So you want that like right there because a lot of people will go, most sites I worked on is like all about the company and why they're so perfect and great to work with. And then like keep up with our company updates and just looking at the back end analytics, there's almost even Amazon. We'll get into that in a minute to make your opt-in a little bit juicier, but basically you want to give them a way to jump on immediately. A lot of people have a problem asking their audience and readers for things, or asking for a sale, or asking them to take action, but that is the core of copywriting. You need to ask them to do something after you've demonstrated value. That's all that copywriting is. So the sixth thing is really like a mental switch of dealing with the idea of turning people away. It is okay to turn people away. When you're an employee, the world is kind of like, oh, be grateful for the jobs you get. Be grateful you have a job at all. This kind of energy. And when you're switching to freelancing, you get to say no, you get to turn people down, you get to turn work down, you get to get specific on what you do and who you offer that to. And a lot of people are scared to turn away business because they think if they do, they're obviously going to go under and go bankrupt, which I understand. But there's like a reason that generalist doctors and specialist, very focused doctors make completely different sums of money. Same with lawyers, same with writers. Specialist, generalist writers that I've ever talked to are 99% of the time paid like pennies on the dollar compared to medical copywriters or some kind of specialty in some kind of way, shape, or form. And you just have, I mean, you have to pick and then really commit to doing what you pick. And then accept that you're going to lose business and people are going to be upset about it. People message me all the time like, your videos are too long. Your editing is not that good. And I'm like, you are not my target market. Like, I have, I've said this before, but I have absolutely no interest in becoming a full-time YouTuber. Very little interest. I just upload these because I think the copywriting market is saturated with scammy, spammy artists, and I hate it. But the people who have joined my mentorship program or even in my pipeline ebook group, nobody's like, your videos are too long, I hate it. Like, none of them have said that. And maybe they've thought it, but they haven't said it, which, or if they did, they were like, okay, these videos are long, I'm just going to hire her because, like, then this cuts out all of this time. But anybody who's upset about my videos being long, like, you're not part of my target, and I don't care. Bye, see you later. But same with clients. If you come at me with, like, a super type A kind of personality and you're, like, a micromanager and I can feel it in the first emails, like, I will not do that job. Like, I don't work with that energy. I like my work. I love hustlers. I love people who are out there getting it. I love people who are putting in the effort and working hard. But my target market focus is like, yeah, people who work really hard and are building their business, but like, they're not micromanagers to a degree that they want to make everybody else as stressed as they are. We ain't working together. And I've dealt with flack from people being upset that I will not take them on as clients, but it's been 10 years, guys, and I've been like, it's been a long time, and I'm not rich, I'm not balling, but like I said, I like my work life to be, I worked a lot and I worked a lot of hours, but like, I like my work life to be chill. So I'm just saying all of that tangent was based on the fact that you can pick what you want out of freelancing, and you don't need to work for pennies on the dollar. You can turn away people who don't fit with you. You can. This is a whole different, and I was even debating like making like a product about like the shift of employee to like freelancer and business owner, because it is a whole different kind of mindset. You can say no to people. Like, I couldn't tell any of my bosses I ever had, like, no, that project doesn't fit with me. Like, that was not the case. That was not an option. Like, ooh, that goal, we need to adjust course. They're like, no, you need to make this happen, which is fine. Like, fine, but when you're calling the shots, it's a whole different world, and you need to get mentally on board with that. Cool. But also for clients I write for too, like, sometimes I'll pressure them to like focus on certain industries, and they push back very hard, which sometimes then I'm like, okay, we're not a good fit. But, um, but then sometimes they get it and the light bulb starts to happen, and then we put the copy up, and then all of a sudden now their site is like, I'm not saying like, oh, they're making thousands of millions of dollars overnight by just fixing these things, but like their site is not constantly turning away work, and you can see more people opting into the emails. You can see the data. That's why I love copywriting, because you can see the back end data. So number 7 is they don't have anything on there to build trust. This is where you talked about yourself. So about paragraph about the client and their struggles, a way to opt in. If they haven't opted in yet, now you need to build some trust because they think you're maybe scammy. Maybe not scammy, but we're also used to kind of slicksters and little scam artists on the internet. So it's like, do I trust you? So this is where you can talk about yourself and like establish trust. Tell your story, which is also number 8 of using storytelling to your advantage. Just tell your story. Like, I got roped into Ashley Amberger as a copywriter so long ago because we have a very similar background, lifestyle, growing up. Like, our childhoods were similar, all these things. And she told these stories, and I was like, oh my God, this is me. And if she can make it to the level she's at, then like, I can do that. So, you don't always have to do wildly personal depending on your industry. Like, if you're a doctor, well, no, I think there's good ways to tell stories, but keep it within reason. But this is where you say your life story, awards you won, things you've been featured on, magazines you've been published in, if like Forbes talked about your business, like this is where you can establish all of those things. Because then they're like, it eases their mind because their guard is up. If they didn't opt in, then their guard is up and they don't know if they can trust you. And then you just show them why you can, which also sometimes includes testimonials or social proof. People on Twitter or Facebook, blah, talking about how much they like you and your content. Yeah, basically just giving people a reason to care. Cool. Okay, and the 9th thing is to, it's more of like a long-term play, which I've covered in other videos on, making sure that your sales page focuses on benefits instead of features, which is basically like, okay, the features of this bullet journal notebook are that it's like 240 pages, it's black, it's, I don't know, like 8.5 by like 5 inches, I don't know, whatever the dimensions are, like all of the types of paper it uses, those are the features. And in terms of a service, that's like, for personal training, you get 8 packages for 30 minutes, a free consultation. It's like all of the things, and so many people just have their entire sales page like, hire me and get, 8 personal training sessions at 30 minutes, buy now. And that's an entirely feature-based, and I'll cover this more in a sales page video. If you're seeing this way down the line, I probably have one, search my channel. But, and the benefit of this is get organized, stay on top of those projects you need to do, ace school, get into med school, tackle your finance goals. I don't know, like whatever you could use this for to change your life or be better or whatever it is. Like, the personal training example, you would go back and say like, the features are X amount of classes, blah, blah, blah. And the benefit is you'll know what to pick in a restaurant every time you want to stay on track with your goals. You will have strategies for when you want to binge eat and you're stressed and how to tackle them. You will be able to have more energy throughout the day because you're working out, you're taking care of your body, and now your body is giving that back to you. Those are the benefits. The benefits are what your life is like after you buy this product or service and how your life changes. And you need to have those if you're going to convert anybody into your sales funnel at all. In my own business, like the mentorship program, I'm like, look, in like a month, you'll be able to have you'll either know how to write copy, like, and have the basics down. So then you can go find clients. And when clients ask you if you can do X, Y, and Z, you're like, yeah, I do know how to do that. I do know how to do that. Or, you've pitched enough, or something like, which is true, that I will help them when they get clients who say yes, and I'll look over their copy and make sure it's like good so they can send it to clients, and kind of having that in your back corner, like that's a benefit. The features are like, we get one starting and ending call, and like, I'm here available by email at any time, or that kind of stuff. The features, very tangible. The benefits, intangible, but you kind of make it like tangible because it's what they get out of it. Cool. Okay. And then the last one, I love how I'm just holding this now, is to give them a reason to opt into your email list, which is why also I've made this guide and put it together for people to download and give them a reason to opt in. But most sites that I work on have something like stay up to date with our company, or sign up for our newsletter, and that is not what you want to have on your site. Even Amazon, a giant conglomerate, would struggle to have people just stay up to date with Amazon. Nobody wants it, and nobody gives a shit about your company. They just don't, and that's brutal. And it's like, I'm very aware no one, I do my business update videos like on here for fun for other people who want to like follow along, but I'm very aware that that is not enough of a hook to grab people in to sign up for my email list or anything like that. So you need to give them a reason. Usually that's a free digital product, a free course that they can take, or a challenge, a discount code if you're selling a actual consumer product. Exclusive content that they can't find anywhere else, that kind of thing. So you need to give them a reason to opt in, and usually they'll take it. Like, for the most part, like, you give them a reason and people are going to take that reason. So that is pretty much it. Yeah. If you change those 10 things, you're bound to see a huge difference on your site. Of course, assuming you're getting traffic in the first place. If you're not getting any traffic, that's like, well, you could fix these, but then focus on getting traffic and all the like SEO backend things that like help send sites your way. Also, I'm sorry, this Cheers tweets. I can't find WD-40 in any local stores, and everything is closed. So, cool. That is it. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said, you can download this below. You will be signed up for my email list, of course. Well, or sign up for it now if I upload this before I can get that all done, and it'll be in your inbox later today, ? Okay, cool. That is it. You guys are awesome. Bye, guys.